There are new revelations this morning about the prison transfer of one of Canada's most notorious killers and growing calls for one of the Prime Minister's top cabinet members to go. This all stems from the CBC News exclusive reporting that the Public Safety Minister's office knew about the move months ahead of time. It was Ashley Burke who brought us the original story and has brought us the developments since. She is live with us in Ottawa. Ashley, welcome to lead off the hour. Tell us what we know now about what the Prime Minister's office knew and when.
Heather, what we know now is that the Prime Minister's office is confirming that they knew about the possible transfer of Paul Bernardo to a medium security facility back in March. So 3 months ago, the office said that they contacted the Public Safety Minister's office immediately, because that is who's in charge of this file, requesting more information. And what's interesting is that the Prime Minister's office statement says that that was, quote, the right thing to do since this file is Minister Mendicino's responsibility. Minister Mendicino, the office also said that the Prime Minister himself was briefed on May 29th. That is the day that Bernardo was transferred. That's the same day the victims' families also found out. But what's interesting is it is a day before Mendicino himself, the Public Safety Minister, his office says he briefed him. So they say he was briefed on March 30th. Now, Catherine Cullen, one of our colleagues, asked the Prime Minister yesterday if anyone would be losing their jobs, if there would be any resignations because of this gap of people not being briefed. And here's what the Prime Minister said he didn't answer.
Prime Minister, is someone going to lose their job over Paul Bernardo's transfer, and should it be your Public Safety Minister? The Conservatives calling for his resignation, sir. Prime Minister, is someone going to lose their job over Paul Bernardo's transfer, and who should it be?
So you saw there an effort by our colleague Catherine Cullen trying to get an answer on that. The Prime Minister not responding. The Conservatives are now calling this all a failure of leadership at the very top.
And as for the Public Safety Minister, your original reporting that his staff knew well before he did, what is Marco Mendicino saying about all of this now?
Well, there's calls for his resignation from the Conservatives. In particular, the Conservatives leader, Pierre Poilievre, says that he needs to step down. It's time for him to go. And if not, that the Prime Minister should fire him. This all set off a political firestorm yesterday in the House of Commons. And take a listen to some of the reaction about when Marco Mendicino knew. And just to remind people, we learned that his office knew in March that there would be a transfer. They were told by the department. There was no date set though, and he wasn't told until about 3 months later, so almost 90 days, the day after the transfer, that it had happened.
If his staff had really kept a secret from him of this enormity, he would have fired them a long time ago. But he hasn't, because he knows, and they know, that he knew way back then.
Mr. Speaker, I invite the Leader of the Conservative Party to repeat that allegation outside of the House. I will absolutely reject it. I knew on May 30th.
Now, Mendicino said in the House yesterday he admitted that there was a mistake made, that he told his staff that he should have been briefed earlier, and that he has dealt with it. He announced that he's going to be issuing something called a ministerial directive, ordering that he has to be notified directly in advance of a high-profile offender transfer like this, directly himself. Right now, his office is notified, and he's saying he didn't get that message. He's also ordering that victims' families are also told in advance about a transfer like this, more in advance than they were currently told. And there's the victims' families right now are really questioning, if this is all possible, that they didn't know ahead of time, and finding this difficult to understand and believe. Take a listen to the lawyer for the victims' families.
How is it possible that so much time could go by and a minister not be advised as is being claimed?
Yeah.
I mean, is this plausible deniability, kind of bureaucratic, systemic, plausible deniability bordering on willful blindness? I don't know. It's deeply troubling.
There are still a lot of questions unanswered, including the victim's family's lawyer wants to know why the commissioner herself didn't pick up the phone and directly call Mendicino and tell him about this earlier. And Minister Mendicino himself has not faced questions yet from reporters. All day yesterday, you know, I was there with others waiting for him to come to a microphone. His office told us that was going to happen just before 1 o'clock, and it never did. He's going to be walking into a committee this morning, and you can imagine there's going to be a lot of reporters there trying to get some of the key questions to him about his handling of this file and what happens next.